Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name's Benson. What's yours? I'm back with the lovely Miss Christin. We're going to talk about her bariatric surgery, which happened officially 2 weeks ago, Wednesday.
Yeah.
So you're just shy by a couple days. But your 1 week checkup is Tuesday.
Not 1 week, it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Post-op.
How do we get 2 weeks?
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks post-op will be Wednesday or Tuesday. Because I'm going to go do my 1 year that day.
Yeah, it's just technically called a post-op visit.
So we're going to do kind of like a back and forth because I kind of have an update. This will be like my 1 year update video and her 2 week update video. So I officially on Friday broke 400 pounds. Like, yes. I'm below 400, and as of today I've actually dropped. I'm 394.
Yay!
Which means I am about 6 pounds under 400, which is super awesome. I've been trying to break that for a little while now.
Yeah, you were pretty discouraged for a
while
about it.
It's been bumming me out a lot for the last couple of weeks because I've been busting butt trying to get there. And now that I've broken that, it seems like it's going to be dropping a couple pounds every... So far, it's been like 2 pounds a day. So...
Yeah, depending on how you eat.
Exactly, yeah. So... And, I mean, we just did do a Walt Disney World trip where...
We did a lot of walking.
Yeah, like 15,000 steps most days.
A lot of walking. I was
okay, so, and we'll get into that too, like, going places a week after surgery and stuff. So, when's the last time you weighed yourself?
Today.
Today? What are you at now?
345.
345?
0.6.
And you started at?
381.
381. So you were down 43 pounds. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I couldn't math there for a second. So...
It's okay, I can't adult on a regular basis.
It happens. Now, week and a half, not a long time, so you're still on the liquid diet, you haven't hit the pureed stage or anything like that, so that's been a frustrating point for you.
It's not the diet that's the frustrating, it's the texture of
because there's nothing there.
No texture to liquid.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you're eating anything.
And you've
You're
had
not
like people
hungry either.
Well, and you've had people in the bariatric group where they're like, just chew it and spit it out, or
no, they will eat it. They eat.
Yeah.
Like, there's somebody in one of the bariatric groups that I'm in who is eating cucumbers with no skins, and she's like 2 days ahead of me as far as dieting.
But her doctor said it was okay.
Yes, and it's really weird to see the differences in the doctor's opinion on what you can have and what you can't have, because I hear like you can't have meat for like 6 months and because it's hard to digest and all that stuff. So it's different to hear all the different rants and stuff that people say.
So, and I mean, the thing too is you're always going to hear the good side of every story. Like, yes. Most people aren't only going to tell you the good stuff that happened. Like, I've seen a question today that's posted in one of the groups I'm in, because we're not in the same group.
No.
The group that I'm in, somebody was like, do you ever regret it? And like every comment was like, never regretted a day in my life, never regretted a day. And like, there were a few people who were like, within the first week I regretted it, because this person was like, I'm only 3 days and I'm kind of regretting it. And you and I had that conversation because you hit that regret wall, and
I didn't hit a regret wall.
You fell down the regret ravine.
Yeah, the thing with me though is it's coupled with anxiety, so it's like a million times worse. It feels that way. Yeah. I don't know if that's true or not for everybody, but I hit like a
anxiety and
like a Grand Canyon of remorse.
Yeah.
For having surgery.
Yeah, you had a big...
I had a day. An entire day.
It was it wasn't a fun day either, because you came at me very like rawr. So,
it was bad.
Yeah.
I will be the first to admit it was really bad. And it wasn't even a week out. Like, no. I hadn't even hit a week. I think I was like 4 days.
It was Monday. It was last Monday.
Yeah. So, yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
So about 5 days.
5 days. So, I wasn't aware that it is common for people to feel the buyer's remorse.
Because you were like, you didn't go through this.
Yeah,
and you don't know.
watched
and I was,
you, and you handle your stress differently than I do.
I can
I'm very
internalize
open.
everything. Yeah.
And, like, I can't function, you know.
So whereas you, so here's your logic box, your anxiety smashes that box, and you can't concentrate. Whereas like me, I grab all my stress and I pack it inside the logic box, and then I sort through. Yeah. It's not even. I sort through it logically.
Yeah.
So unless it's just so much stress at one time, I can handle mine really well. So like there were a couple days.
Like the essence of Tinkerbell when my stuff happens.
Yeah.
It's like I can only feel one emotion at one time. And that emotion is so strong that it just is, that's it.
Yeah. And so, like, you and I had that conversation. I was like, no, I totally went through that. Everybody goes through that. So, within the first week to 2 weeks of your surgery, you're gonna hate the fact that you had surgery. Yes. I mean, there's probably a few people that didn't, but 99% of the people out there, that week after surgery, because what happens is...
You hate yourself.
It's not even... I don't know if you hate...
You do. Well, I mean,
you hate the decision.
Be realistic about it. You really do. You hate yourself because you've put yourself into a position where you don't have to have the surgery, but you're having the surgery. You made that choice on yourself, so you almost hate yourself.
Yeah.
You have decided to do this thing to your body that is completely unnatural and completely changes everything that you can do going forward.
Yeah.
You don't realize how much until you actually do it, and it's been a couple days. Like, they can tell you everything. People can tell you everything.
Right.
I mean, I've had your story that I've lived through the last year. I have friends that I talk to in person on a regular basis, and then I have this group that I watch. You can hear everything, and you still are not prepared for what it actually does to your body.
Right.
And you just have that.
And you're saying your body too, but what you don't realize is, like, after the surgery, your persona changes. So, like, before surgery, you know, when you got stressed out, when you didn't feel good, when you were having, you could just, you went and ate. And now that persona changes. You can't just go binge a box of chicken nuggets or anything like that.
No, and you really have to talk to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm almost neurotic now about what I eat.
Right.
Like, I know you have kind of noticed. Because there are things like, we'll pick up and we'll be like, oh, it's only got, you know, whatever in it. And then I read the label and I'm like, it's got caffeine, I can't have it.
Right.
I'm very, like, and we'll get into why. He told you to do it.
Well, he told you not to do these things, and
I'm, like, refusing not to,
Yeah, you're sticking to it. And that's not a bad thing.
Well, it's like the straw. Okay, so we went to Disney, and we bought a drink, and now, mind you, you can't have any alcohol. You can't have any soda or any carbonation. So
we found you a juice drink, asked them to water.
Yes.
We bought one drink, and they were very kind enough to take that drink and put it into 2 drinks and water them down.
Yes. And not only that drink, but all the drinks. So any drink that I found that I liked or wanted to try on
non-alcoholic. She at no point had alcohol.
No.
Let's
well,
keep
that's
that
what
much.
I'm,
She
that's
stuck
what I'm getting
to
that. So we would have them substitute soda water in a drink for regular water.
We would ask for water instead of soda water.
There was an alcoholic beverage I wanted to try.
We just asked for
no alcohol.
And we watered it down.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with that one, and I was really good about not using the straw. So I did not use a straw.
But it's very hot when you hand somebody a cold drink and you're sweating your booty off. Your first thing is, get it in me.
It honestly completely slipped my mind, and I just used the straw.
So,
and I even, like, looked at you.
Yeah, you were like, oh my god. And I was like, calm down. The only reason they tell you not to use the straw is because if you're, like, the thing with the straw is, like, if you exhale everything out and then you suck on the straw, you're going to be okay, because what it is they're worried you're going to suck
air
and then suck on the straw, and you're going to put a lot of air in front of that, and that's going to cause you gas pains and stuff. So drinking from a straw is not going to kill you, but your brain was like, I'm going to die.
The doctor told me not to do. So I was and so here's the other part of mine. I have ADHD, which I've said 100 times.
You need the structure.
I have to have that in order to function and not regret what I'm doing.
Right.
And even that doesn't help all the time. But because it happened and it was so absent, like it just didn't even...
It makes you afraid you're going to keep doing it.
Yes. So I'm
going to share some things with you. A year and a month out, and 9 times out of 10, I still drink within 30 minutes of eating.
Well, and I've been really good about that. But I'm only...
Right. Yeah. Well, it's still... Well, but that's just it. Like, because it's... Like, that is the one thing I've had the hardest time training my brain to do. That and eating slow. Yeah. Like... I literally have to take a bite, put my fork down, push the bowl away, do something, then come back, take a bite. Otherwise, like, there are still days where I'll eat too fast because, like, I'm at work and I'm in a hurry and I'll be like, oh, that was terrible and now I'm sick or whatever.
I experienced the eating too fast.
You did. We'll get to that. No. I don't think you experienced the eating too fast. Yours is a little funky. We'll get there. But so even a year and a half out, like you're gonna have those absent. Like
so
if you hand me a cup with a straw,
you saw me timing something the other day, and you asked me what I was doing.
Right, you were timing.
I was timing when I was able to drink again.
Right,
after eating something, and it's not because I'm on the liquid diet. It's not eating. It's I had ate soup. I drank some soup, and so I timed from the end of that. To
which you probably didn't have to do because it wasn't real food.
No, but I still was like,
no. You're fine. I'm not. I'm just saying.
That's what my brain is saying. That was food. That for me was a food.
Right. No. I know what you're saying.
But it was funny because you asked me, and I was like,
yeah.
I'm timing when I can drink, and you just kind of looked at me and you were like, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, at that point, I'm like, okay, whatever, that's fine.
That's what works for me.
Yeah, and look, for the first, like, 6 months, 7 months, year, I had a loud timer on when to take my vitamins. Cause
I'm going to have to do that because I'm really bad about it.
I'm going to tell you, when your Fitbit comes in, just set it on your Fitbit so that it buzzes and you know when to take it.
I don't even know when.
Like, at work, I would leave my phone at my desk and my alarm would go off and people were like, what's going on? Why is there like a siren going off? Yeah, it's for me to take my calcium pills because I would never remember to do it. So, so that's there are things. So now your eating too fast story. I don't think it was necessarily that you ate too fast. I think your spoon was too. Yeah, so we had just got home from a birthday party, and we sit there and we watch people eat.
I was really good. I didn't even want any of it.
Yeah.
There was multiple things. There wasn't just cake and ice cream. There was pizza and roast and potato, which that is a whole nother thing. But I was very good. I didn't be like, oh, I want some of that, because I really didn't.
Yeah.
But when we got home, I went to get pudding because I had pudding with protein in it, and I used a regular spoon and just got a spoonful and ate it, and it was the most painful thing I've ever done in my life aside from childbirth. And it's because it sits like right here, and it is extremely painful.
Well, so what that is you not only did you eat,
I had to probably take a breath.
Yeah, so there was air trapped there, and then it hits your stomach. So needless to say,
I threw up.
Your body rejected it.
Yes.
And you revisited the pudding.
So the dumping syndrome, so I only thought dumping syndrome happened as far as like your bowel movements. I didn't realize that dumping syndrome was actually more than that. It's vomiting. It's and
evacuating the food that you just recently had in your body.
Yes. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was all of it. I only thought that it was the one thing.
Honestly, the cramps are probably the worst part. Like, I have made the mistake.
Well, I didn't have cramps, but it was...
Yeah, well, no.
It was bad.
The cramps have... it's only happened once or twice, and I ate like half a hot dog, and I think it was just too much bread, and... it was so bad, I went to sleep because it hurt so much. Like, it was just too much to deal with.
I couldn't. Like, I physically was like fighting
yeah.
whether or not to lay down, because I kept getting on the bed and then I would get back up, and then I'd get on the bed and get back up. And
but yeah, so like that's you're almost 2 weeks out.
It was really rough, and now I know I'll never do it again. You know what I did the next couple of days? Within the next 2 days, I bought a pack of baby spoons.
Yep.
Because they tell you to use, tell you can use them. A lot of people don't. But for me, because of this structure thing, I think it's a better idea for me. I eat a lot slower now.
Yeah.
It takes me almost 30 minutes to eat a cup of yogurt now, where it didn't take me but a few minutes. And even before the bad one happened, I was still eating Jell-O cups fairly quickly, you know, because I was eating like normal bites. I would just roll it around in my mouth till it became liquid again and then swallow it. So now that I have the baby spoons, it's controlling more of what I'm putting in my mouth. So because I'm an absent-minded eater, it's better.
It slows you down.
Yeah. And I think I needed that, and I just didn't know until that happened that it was something that I really needed to get.
It's, again, you're gonna have regrets. You're gonna slip up and do something, even within 2 weeks when it's fresh. But just know that the reward is worth it. But it's not 100%.
Yeah.
Sunshine and rainbows.
And like you come out of the funk. You do. I had that one day, and I'm sure I will have another one because of the way that I am. But it didn't last longer than 24 to maybe 48 hours. I don't know exactly. But you come out of that. It's not like that's what rules your feelings from that point on or anything. It's mainly finding, so what I did personally was, I wasn't in a bariatric group prior to that, or I was, but it was a UK group, which the way that they talk about theirs is completely different because their scale system is different and all that, so you can't understand
You're just not
really
sure
well. And so I actually went and found a bariatric group that was based in the United States, and I joined that group and looked at what other people were saying, because that helped me realize that I wasn't the only person who was feeling that way. And so it's kind of a pro and con to be in a group, because you see the other stuff that people are doing, but
and then after we've talked, you know, you have to realize too that like you've got to bring these things to me as well, because just because I didn't voice it doesn't necessarily mean I didn't go through it. So I get what you're going through.
You gotta lean on people. Even if you don't want to, it helps.
Right.
Even though you see, like I said, in my opinion, watching you, I didn't see you do any of that. But again, it's because you handle your feelings completely different than I handle mine. And so that's a big thing. It's you know, it's different. So
I gotcha. Alright.
But yeah, so that's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
If you guys have any other questions about like the first 2 weeks of bariatric surgery, drop them in the comments below and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. You know, we're never going to tell you to ignore what your doctor says. We're following what our doctors say.
Because I'm going to Puree in a couple of days.
But you'll still remember these 2 weeks. We're never going to tell you to do something that your doctor has told you to do or not do. We're going to tell you to always follow your doctor and to reach out to your doctor. We're just going to give you our experiences with that particular incident. And
definitely do that first, because every doctor has a different plan for their people. And
because if something happens, that's who you're going to end up having to go back to is your doctor.
And explain it. So reach out to them and your nutrition team. Your nutrition team is very helpful. Yeah,
we're just going to give you the mindset. Like if you're like, you know, did you go through the whole buyer's remorse, as they're calling it? Or, you know, we'll answer those questions. Like, hey, did you struggle with this? Yeah, I did. You know, like we were saying earlier, to get below 400 because I started at such a high weight. Like I struggled, and it wasn't like I was eating bad or anything like that. Like my body had kind of stalled out. I had started working out again, so I was building muscle, and I just wasn't losing, because basically what I was losing, I was re-strengthening.
Well, and you didn't know, right, about the calorie thing prior to me?
No, I did.
You did, okay.
No, and that's the other thing too. Like you've got to get more calories in
when you're working out.
It's like not working out and stuff like that. So you got to make sure you're hitting your protein and your water, because all that helps with the weight loss. So if you've got any questions, like I said, we will give you our experiences on that particular question. If you're asking us, should you do something, we're always going to refer you to your doctor first.
And if you don't know,
yes, go ahead, because I didn't know this.
You need, regardless of what bariatric surgery you have, you need to have a medical alert, something, necklace, keychain, thing in your wallet, bracelet, anything that has a no blind NG tube on your list. I didn't know about this until I was told from a friend. You didn't know about it at all. And for me, it scared me a little bit, because this entire year you've been out of surgery. If something would have happened to you, I wouldn't have known. And so if you are unconscious for whatever reason and an ambulance is called, you need to have it with you. You need to have something on you that states that you've had the gastric bypass or the sleeve, and that they cannot do a blind NG tube on you, because your depth of your stomach is not like it normally is. So, and they can poke a hole in your
what she's
stomach.
Saying is, like, if they have to run a tube down your throat, they're trained. So this is hers, and she got hers on Etsy, so it's real cute. They're trained to just shove that tube all the way down to the bottom of your stomach, and they can't do that if you've had gastric bypass or the sleeve.
They'll rupture your stomach.
Yeah, they could poke it straight through your stomach and then cause more issues. So I've got to get mine.
Please get one.
Yeah,
I've got to get mine. If you don't already have it.
Soon, so I was unaware of it, but
which we're working on, because we just have to decide what you want.
Right. So make sure you get that. That's important. That's a good note. Thanks for remembering that.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we absolutely love you guys. We thank you so much for kind of joining us on this journey and experiencing this with us. Not every day is a cakewalk on this thing, and some days you're going to struggle. Some days it's going to suck. I know people are out there and they're like, we 100% never regret this. Over the last year,
fantastic for you.
Yeah, and you're probably lying. You're probably
well,
at
I'm
some
not even
point,
going to say that, because there are some people, I'm sure, that are.
No, I mean, the thing is like, you're going to get that point where you're like, I've lost, like for me, like I've lost 100 and
over
almost 140 pounds at this point. No, what? 100, I'm almost at 140 pounds lost in a year, and that's absolutely amazing. And like right now, I would tell you, I do not regret anything. I do not regret having the surgery. But on a day-by-day case, there's been days where I'm like, I am having a really terrible day, and I want this, or I want this. Or like, you know, as somebody who loves to cook, like I can't enjoy food the way I used to. Like one or two bites and I'm done.
So you don't get to taste everything.
Well, yeah. So it's like I enjoy cooking, but like because I taste as I cook, by the time I'm done cooking, I'm not going to eat dinner because I'm full. And so there are days where you regret it, and that's just like the superficial part of it. But it's a mental battle. Like this is it's a 95% mental game. The rest is all physical. And it's
the rest of your life. It's not something you should go into lightly.
Because if you screw up and you quit, you know you're gonna gain the weight back. You've got to stay on top of it 24/7.
And the other thing about it too that's very prominent also is you need to remember that you're not the only person that feels that way. And that's the big thing. Like, you know, if you need something, reach out to someone.
Yes. And if you want to ask us questions or you need somebody to talk to, you can find us on Facebook and you can find us on Twitter. You can ask us questions here. I've got an email address linked to the account. If you want to send a question anonymously and you want Christin to read it, if you'll put in the subject line, I think it's and stuff like that videos at gmail.com, but it's in the about section for the channel. If you'll put in the subject line question for Christin, I won't even read it. I'll tell her to go read it. If you want only me to read it, I'll read it and I won't let her read it. If you want both of our opinions, just be like, hey, got a question for you guys. Just in the subject line, notate that you'd rather only one of us read it, and we'll definitely be doing that. Now, you know, don't send us terrible questions as far as like, don't try and be a terrible person. We don't want any of that junk. But if you've got like legitimate questions about the bariatric surgery and stuff that you would rather not have on the channel, comments and stuff, by all means. And
if you're going into it, if you're just wanting to know stuff about it, like you haven't had it and you're thinking about it, do your research. Make sure that you're prepared, because like I said, it is a lifelong thing at this point. You are locked. Once you have this surgery, you are locked in.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're not, it's not, oh, well, I don't want to do this anymore. You can't do that. So just make sure that you're going into it, one, for the right reasons, and two, with research. We have researched this for you did it for longer than I had. But, you know, really think about what you're doing, and don't just do it because it's a fad or you see all these people that are doing it and it's cool.
Or you think it's a quick fix.
Because it's not. It is, every day is a struggle mentally and physically, because you can't do the things that you used to be able to do.
Not every day. You have your bad days, but you really have a lot of good days.
I'm talking about eating wise.
Yeah. Well, no, and even then, you're still only 2 weeks. You're gonna have days where you're just like, I don't want to eat anything.
Yes.
Or
protein
nothing.
is really hard to get in. That's something we kind of glossed over. I'm having a rough time getting my protein in.
Because the shakes have been really heavy on you.
Yes, and you did not really have a rough time getting yours in. You forced yourself, though. They were never, it was a brain thing. I was like, I gotta do it, so I do it. And I'm very, like,
it doesn't make me feel good, so you...
Yeah, so I'm not gonna do it. But I'm trying to be better about it, but it is something that you really have to plan out. It's a very structured...
And through the liquid stage and the pureed stage and stuff, like, you have to do your best. Like, once you get into, like, real foods and stuff like that, it gets a little bit easier, because it's not so, like, oh,
which we're not saying slack off or anything like that. That's not what he's saying.
What I'm saying is do your very best through those stages to hit your protein goals. But it does get easier, because then, you know, once you hit real food, like, you can cook a pound of ground turkey and eat that
it throughout the day. Yep.
Almost hit your protein goal at a very low calorie count. So, you just, again,
do your research and make sure that it's good research. Just
know this is a tool. You've definitely got to remember it's a tool. And you've definitely got to remember that this is an absolute lifestyle change.
And it's not easy.
No.
Like, don't go into it thinking that it's...
don't...
It's a quick fix and it's just going to make you lose all this weight and you're going to be perfect in a few months. That's not how it works.
Yeah. There's a lot of struggles, and we haven't even gotten into body dysmorphia or throwing out your fat clothes. Like, we'll get to those in a few videos, because I haven't
hit any of that
stuff yet.
I
have, and that was rough, but we'll get into that more, like, as you get to those stages, and we'll kind of explore those as well, because those are other really mental struggles that you get through. You know, there are days where I look in the mirror and I'm like, I haven't lost a single pound, even though the scale says I've dropped 140 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
which
just
is
it, like,
rough for me.
Yeah.
When you have those days.
Yeah, well, because, like, I feel like garbage on those days, but in the same sense, like, I gotta put more holes in my belt because these 48 pants are falling off all of, you know, I'm probably down to
the first pair of Walmart pants you've bought in
they're the first thing under a size 50 I've ever owned that I can remember since high school. Yeah.
So, like, it's...
Or, like, the t-shirt I bought at Walmart was, like, $5.
The t-shirt you bought at Disney.
Yeah, and they're getting baggy on me, or getting to the length I prefer my shirts to be. So those things are happening, but at the same time, like, there are days I look in the mirror and I'm like, I don't see the loss whatsoever. Yeah. And so those are rough days, and you're gonna have those. So, but in the end, with those days, you're gonna have there are just some days where I am so energetic and so pumped and so just like,
it's very irritating.
Let's go, 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 go. So you're gonna have the good days too, trust me. There are far more good days than bad.
The one thing I can't stress enough is just reach out to somebody.
Talk
to somebody if you're having a bad day. And if you don't have anybody, we're here.
Yeah, find somebody who's been through it, because it's hard to have a conversation with somebody about bariatric surgery, or find somebody that can really empathize with your situation if they haven't had it. They're not going to really understand it. Yeah, because you can have friends who are like, oh, I totally understand you're having it rough, but at the same time, they didn't grow up the way you grew up. They didn't grow up, you know, with the weight issues you grew up with, and they didn't get the surgery for their health, help themselves and stuff like that. So if you absolutely need somebody to talk to about this, we're more than willing to talk, because we get it. We really do. We both grew up being the big kid. We grew up being picked on. We grew up, and we've experienced life where chairs were the bane of my existence, and now I'm sitting in a chair with handles on the side. So we get it. And just definitely reach out. That's something she had to learn on Monday. Like, she didn't try and talk to me. Like, she was so frustrated and so like anxiety driven and defeated that like she lashed out at me, versus being like, this is what's going on, and just letting me talk to her about it. Like,
it wasn't even like,
it wasn't intentional whatsoever.
I don't know really what happened that day specifically. Like, I can't, normally if I get upset, I can pinpoint a moment where it happened, like where the switch flipped and I was like, that's what made me mad. I have no idea what happened that day. It was, I answered the phone from a friend who called me because I told her that I was having a really rough day, and I bawled.
Right.
The entire morning was like that. And this is somebody who hasn't had gastric bypass. She's not really had an issue weight-wise or anything like that, but she knew that I was doing this and that it was rough. But it was so, even talking to her, like, I love her and she's a really good friend of mine, but even talking to her, I could not get out what I was feeling. And so it just stuck with me the whole day. And then I talked to my sister, and even she's very supportive and she's very nice, but she didn't understand.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh yeah, I get it. I understand that you're having rough whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's fine, but you're not getting what I'm saying. And so it just was an entire day, and it was really rough. And I don't know what switch happened there. I think it's just something, like you said, it is common, so it happens. But it was so out of the blue, like, because I had been doing fine up to that point, and even now I've been doing fine afterwards. It's just,
the bad days are few and far in between, but they are rough. And on those bad days, be willing to talk to somebody if you can't. Again, I internalize it. I don't necessarily have to talk to somebody. I can logically destroy the negative feelings once I get a grasp on them. But some people can't. A lot of people can't. So definitely be willing to reach out, find that support group, find that support friend who's been in the similar situation. So that's a really big thing for the bariatric surgery and stuff.
Reach out.
Yeah. We love you guys. Like, just ask away if you've got them. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a long one. It's a 2-week update. And
in a 1 year.
In a 1 year. But there's a lot to cover in those, especially for somebody like her who's got the anxiety and stuff like that.
If all you take away from this video is one thing, get yourself a medical alert bracelet. It's important.
Medical alert bracelet.
And reach out
and support. Definitely reach out if you need it. We love you guys. We really do. So if you've got the questions, feel free to ask.
We got the answers. Well, we can try to have the answers.
We got our experiences. We love you. Till tomorrow.
Bye.